Hello everyone, my name is Seraphi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today I am reporting to you from a ruined mess of a house. But we have things to talk about because there was a Reddit post online asking about what was Vector's reveal going to be like, and would it be as bad as Mizar's. Vector, if you don't know, is the next Barian that's coming. And I thought it would be a great time for me to talk about the Barian Emperors that have been released so far, what we can expect moving forward, and why the release of Mizar was so polarizing for a lot of people. Okay, so I have here on DLM all of the Umbral Horror cards, which Umbral Horror is Vector's archetype. And as you can see, all but one of those cards is in the game already. This is common for a lot of cards. And we should talk about why. The thing that you guys need to understand is that Zexal decks were bad. Unbelievably, uncompromisingly bad. And that's not just for the Barian Emperors. It's for Yuma as well. Yuma and Shark and Kite, they all had terrible decks. You didn't see any of the cards that we see in actual games for Yuma in his deck. He played cards like Go 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 Golem, which can protect yourself from being destroyed once in battle. And then he would just pass. Normal summon one monster with no effect and pass. That's what we were looking at in Zexal. Shark barely even summoned number 32. Most of his decks were revolving around Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark, which is a rank 3 monster, which is why he has cards like Big Jaws. Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark, by the way, was a lot better in the anime. It dealt 400 damage to the opponent for each card they were holding in their hand, as opposed to right now it does like 100 damage for each card you have banished or something like that. And then Kite. You wouldn't see cards like Galaxy Knight in the anime. Kite literally summoned 2 number monsters, number 10 Illuminite and number 20 Giga Brilliant, just to sacrifice them both so he could summon Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon like normally. So just Galaxy Eyes pass. That's what we were looking at with Kite, and Kite was supposed to be the best duelist of them all. So yeah, these cards are not good, and they've not been good for a long time. And that's the same for all of the Barian Emperors. So Girag, we're missing Thunderhand, and that's it. That's all Girag has. Dumon, we have most of the Archfiend Seraph cards already. We have all the Star Seraph cards. And Marin doesn't have any cards. So there you go. This is the problem, right? Let's take a look at the Barian Emperors, okay? So Girag, even though he was by far the most screen time of any of the Barian Emperors, he never dueled because he preferred to give the kids in Yuma's school rank up Magic Barian's Force and have them attack Yuma in his place. That's where all the Chaosic Seas monsters come from. For Nash, he showed up really late, and he had some cards, to be honest. Nash is probably going to be the best release we get after Vector. Dumont barely duels at all. Marin barely duels at all. Even when there's like a 6 Barian duel going on, Marin is like intentionally cut out of that. She is dueling, but we don't see her duel when we see everyone else duel. She just wins, and that's all we see. Mizar's deck is bad. Mizar's deck is genuinely bad. It's a bunch of level 8s that are level 8s, and that's all it is. And the reason why Mizar got cards printed after the anime, like Tachyon Chaos Hole and Tachyon Transmigration, is because he has overlap with Galaxy Eyes, and Galaxy Eyes is a popular deck. That's literally it. Alito is the exception. Alito duels more than every other Barian Emperor. And he does say that, like, it's very clear. I may be a Barian, but I'm a duelist first. He is their fighter, he is their warrior. And rightfully so, Alito got a proper archetype that got regular support even after the anime, and now he has good cards that we're waiting for. So Alito is the unique character. He's more like Yuma and Astral than he is the Barian Emperors. And that brings me to Vector. So there are a few factors that impact Vector's deck and Vector in the anime, and we should talk about those. Two major things that I want to highlight. Reduce the number of cards that Vector was shown playing in the anime, especially from his own deck. The first thing is, at some point during the anime, Vector teams up with another villainous character named Number 96. And they form not really a bond, but it's kind of like, it's supposed to be a dark mirror of Yuma and Astral's relationship. So number 96 is absorbed into Vector's body, and Vector uses number 96's cards to showcase his control over them, which means that he has fewer of his own cards. The other problem is, when Vector came into the picture as a real villain, another card was introduced into the game, into the anime, and that card is Rank Up Magic the 7th one. So, Rank Up Magic the 7th one is a card that was introduced halfway through the Barian arc, and the reason why it was brought out was basically so that the Barian Emperors could compete with all the cards that had been shown for Yuma and Kite and Shark. Because Yuma and Kite and Shark had had so much screen time, the ability to develop these strategies that you could expect them to use, you know, they've been in tournaments, they've been fighting Quattro and his brothers, so it wasn't uncommon at this point in the Barian arc for Yuma, for Astral, for Shark, and Kite to Xyz summon on the first turn. Because of that, the Barian Emperors needed a way to fight back. They needed to be posed as threats and showcase their ace monsters, because their ace monsters, their numbers over 100, were the important cards. And that is why they gave them this card. Rank Up Magic the 7th one is, for the time of Zexal, extremely broken. It allows you to immediately special summon your number over 100 from your X deck or your graveyard, and then also rank it up using that monster as material. Just with one spell card. You didn't need any monsters. You could summon Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon with no level 8s, and then go into Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon immediately using Tachyon Dragon as material. That was the power of Rank Up Magic the 7th one. So because of that, Vector would play that card to summon his Umbral Horror Masquerade, and then we didn't get to see any of his Umbral Horror cards because he didn't need to Xyz summon. So, with these two factors in mind, Vector still got a lot of cards. Vector is probably the Barian Emperor unlock you should look forward to the most, and he is coming next. Let's talk about the other cards that Vector got, which are not Umbral Horror cards, so that you can see what you should look forward to. So, first let's talk about Vector's Ace, which is terrible. So Vector's Ace is number 104 Masquerade. This is a light spellcaster monster that requires 3 level 4 monsters. During either player's battle phase, when an opponent's monster's effect is activated, you can attach 1 Xyz material from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, inflict 800 damage to your opponent, which will obviously be halved to 400. Once per turn, you can send the top card of your opponent's deck to the graveyard. That's terrible. It's a monster negate that doesn't destroy the monster, and it can only be activated during the battle phase. This is a trash card. You are not going to play this card at all. It requires 3 level 4s as well. You compare this card to something like Shark Drake, which can literally win you the game, and this is just so bad. So unbelievably bad. Number 105 might not be that great, but at least number 105 had the ability to protect your entire board. This is just a negate that happens during the battle phase. That said, we have C104, which is much, much better. So this is not Vector's Ace, but it is a card that's going to come with Vector's release. Chaos number 104, Umbral Horror Masquerade. This monster has 3,000 attack points. It is a dark spellcaster, and its effect is, when this card is special summoned, you can target 1 spell or trap on the field and destroy that target. If this card has number 104 Masquerade as an Xyz material, it gains this effect. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when a monster effect is activated on your opponent's side of the field, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, negate the activation, then you can send 1 card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, and if you do, have your opponent's life points. Fantastic. So, it doesn't destroy the monster, and the monster effect has to be activated on the field, so it can't be activated in the graveyard or in the hand. Those things aren't good, but it does send a card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard when you negate, which is as close to destroying the monster after you negated it as a monster effect would reasonably get in Zexal. And having the opponent's life points is burn that's not going to be halved in Duel Links. It's not like we're going to cut your life points by a quarter. We're going to cut your life points in half, and you're just going to have half life points. So that's really, really strong. It is also a soft once per turn, which means if you can somehow make 2 of these, you can use the effect multiple times and rip your opponent's hand to shreds while also negating multiple effects and cutting their life points down to 1,000. That's great. So this card is something that you should look forward to, even though we're not going to get any of the Umbral Horror cards. As a side note, all the Umbral Horror cards are really easy to collect. You can see them over here on the right. There's 2 rares and 2 neutral rarity cards. They're all from the Red Dragon Archfiend box. That's the basic cards. Then there's also Corrupted Keys, which I believe will probably be from Vector's rerun event. So don't be surprised if you don't see Corrupted Keys when we first see the event. Corrupted Keys. Target one face-up Xyz monster you control and special summon 3 Umbral Horror Mirage tokens, which are Fiend Dark level 1s, with attack equal to that Xyz monster's attack. They cannot attack your opponent directly or be tributed except for a tribute summon, and when that face-up Xyz monster leaves the field, destroy these tokens. So, if you have Umbral Horror Masquerade out, you can activate this trap and get 3 tokens that all have 3,000 attack points. They can't attack directly, but they'll crush everything on your opponent's field and let Masquerade finish them off. That's pretty good. It is a trap, which means you have to set it and then hope your Masquerade survives and then use it next turn. But it does mean that you don't have to save that much follow-up. You can literally play Umbral Horror Masquerade. Maybe you set 1 or 2 cards. You have your Masquerade to negate a card and rip a card out of your opponent's hand. Then as long as you are able to keep your Masquerade on the field, it's your turn. Doesn't matter what you draw. Doesn't matter what you still have in your hand. You activate Corrupted Keys and you go for lethal. That's great. So this card will probably be a key part of Vector's deck if and when we get it. Now for the other cards that Vector gets, the other deck that Vector would use is the Malicevorous deck. And Malicevorous is a group of level 2 Dark Fiend monsters which can easily summon number 96 Dark Mist and number 65 Djinn Buster. We already have number 65, by the way. So we already have all 3 of these cards in the game. They're all neutral rarity cards. Malicevorous Fork. You can summon another Fiend-type monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. Malicevorous Knife. When this card is normal summon, you can target a Malicevorous monster in your graveyard, except Knife, and special summon it. And Malicevorous Spoon. When a Malicevorous monster with a different name is normal or special summoned from your side of the field, you can target 1 level 2 monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Its effects are negated. So you can use Fork, discard Spoon, and special summon it, then normal summon Knife and target Spoon in your graveyard to revive it, and then you can just immediately seize into a monster that requires 3 level 2s. So let's take a look at our options. We have number 65 already. Number 65 Djinn Buster requires 2 level 2 dark monsters. It has 1,300 attack points, and during either player's turn, when an effect of an opponent's monster is activated, you can detach 2 Xyz materials from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, inflict 250 damage to your opponent. So again, it's an effect that negates and burns, but it does not destroy the card that activated. Still, this is a lot less resources than number 104 because it only requires 2 level 2s as opposed to 3 level 4s. And this card is not the only card that you can make. Because, of course, unlike the other Mytherian numbers, except for 73, number 65 has a Chaos Evolution. Because unlike the other Barian Emperors, Vector's not looking to be redeemed. He is a serious villain. So he corrupts his own true number into Chaos number 65, King Overfiend. Chaos number 65, King Overfiend. Once per turn, you can attach 1 material from this card, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and it loses 1,000 attack and defense permanently. That's really good. It has 1,600 attack points as well. It's not a quick effect, but nuking your opponent's attack allows you to beat over things. It's very useful. And then, while this card has number 65 Djinn Buster as an Xyz material, it gains this effect. Effect monsters your opponent controls cannot activate their effects. That's insane. You just literally turn off every card on your opponent's field except for like continuous effects. So it wouldn't turn off the effect of Umbral to not be able to be destroyed by battle, or you can't take damage while you attack Umbral, but Umbral could not then destroy the opponent's monster when they attacked because that's an activated effect, for example. So King Overfiend literally just skill drains the entire field. It's fantastic, and this card probably will be an ultra rare in the box, I'm guessing, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope Vector has a great skill because he has so many chaos numbers. We can't just have the Barian Battlemorph number over 100 skill that only lets him rank up Masquerade. Vector is probably the only character that we will probably run rank up Magic Barian's Force in the deck, like an actual card, just so that we can make sure that we actually are able to rank up every single monster. We also have number 43, Manipulator of Souls. Number 43, Manipulator of Souls requires 3 level 2 dark monsters. Once per turn, you can detach one Exceeds material from this card, target one number monster in your graveyard, and equip that target to this card. While equipped with a number card, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Once per turn, when you gain life points, except during the damage step, you can make this card gain an equal number of attack points, also inflict that much damage to your opponent if this card is still face up on the field. That will probably be halved. So, let's say that you activate Dynakeet of the Cured Master. Manipulator of Souls gains 1,000 attack points, and then burns your opponent for 500. That's decent, but you can combine it with cards like Destruct Potion, which is already in the game. Destruct Potion, select one monster you control, destroy it, and gain life points equal to its attack points. So let's say that you activate this card, you target your Chaos number 104, you destroy it, you gain 3,000 life points, Manipulator of Souls gains 3,000 attack points, and burns your opponent for 1,500 damage. That seems like a really good effect. And that's just Manipulator of Souls. Manipulator of Souls has a Chaos form as well, because of course it does. Chaos number 43, High Manipulator of Chaos. 0 attack points, requires 4 level 3 darks. All tokens you control can make a second attack during each battle phase. Hey, I remember tokens. Tokens were from that Corrupted Keys card that was really good. If this card has number 43 Manipulator of Souls as an Exceeds material, it gains this effect. Once per turn, you can detach one Exceeds material from this card and special summon one Manipulator token. When summoned, its attack and defense become equal to half the opponent's current life points. Wait, hold on a second. Let me do some math here. Let's say my opponent has 4,000 life points. I summon a token, it has 2,000 attack points, and all my tokens can attack twice. I'm seeing the math, chat. I'm seeing it line up. So 43 is a great card, and hopefully we'll be able to use the Malicevorous cards to make it. By the way, if you want to make this with the Umbral Horrors, you summon Umbral Horror Ghost, which lets you special summon itself and another level 4 or lower fiend type monster from your hand. So you special summon Umbral Horror Ghost, which lets you special summon Umbral Horror Will-o-the-Wisp, and Will-o-the-Wisp lets you target an Umbral Horror monster you control, and its level becomes that monster's. But that's only 2 level 2s. You need like a third one, so I'm not sure how you're going to do it just with the Umbral Horrors, sadly. But we're not done. We are not done, because we have number 65, and it's a good card. But what about number 66? Well, number 66 is also a card that Vector used. Number 66, Master Key Beetle. This is a dark insect monster that requires 2 level 4 dark monsters, 2,500 attack points. Once per turn, you can attach one Exceeds material from this card, target one card you control except this card. While Master Key Beetle is face up on the field, the card you targeted cannot be destroyed by card effects. And you can do it more than once. It's just once per turn. So you do it again next turn, now you're protecting 2 cards. If this face-up card on the field would be destroyed, you could send one of its targets to the graveyard instead. That's really good. So you target a continuous trap that you don't want it to be destroyed, for example. That continuous trap can't be destroyed while number 66 is on the field. You use the continuous trap, you use its effects, and then if your opponent would destroy Master Key Beetle, okay, well you could just send the continuous trap to the graveyard instead. So it's like you're protecting one card until the battle phase, and then the battle phase, that card protects your Master Key Beetle. Seems really strong. And it only requires 2 level 4 darks. It's got 2,500 attack points. This is a pretty decent body and a pretty decent card. Obviously, you're going to have access to other rank 4s like Dark Rebellion Exceeds Dragon and number 39 Utopia. So you're going to have options playing this deck. And I do think that Master Key Beetle will probably be Vector's UR drop for the event. I'm imagining that number 104 will be the ultra rare in the box. Number 66 will be the ultra rare drop. And then Chaos number 104 will be one of his level ups, just like it has been for all the other Barian Emperors, except for Girag. Okay. So those are the main cards that Vector has used. Then we also have a couple of anti-Xyz cards, which will be extremely bad if they are added to the game, but I can't see when they would be added, except with Vector's release. One of these cards is Vain Betrayer. Vain Betrayer is a continuous trap card. When an opponent's Xyz monster declares an attack, activate this card by targeting the attacking monster. It cannot attack, also its effects are negated. While that monster is face up on the field, during each of the opponent's end phases, send the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck to the graveyard, and when that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. So Vain Betrayer is interesting. It allows you to stop an attack, it allows you to negate a monster's effects, and it allows you to mill your opponent. That's kind of a cute effect. It works pretty well with Masquerade's effect to mill during the turn, although that would require you to not rank up Masquerade, which would be a terrible mistake. But here's the thing. It requires your opponent to have an Xyz monster, and there are plenty of decks that don't even play Xyz decks, and then your opponent can just link that monster off. So at best you're going to get... Now, admittedly, Vain Betrayer is better in Duel Links than it is in another game like Master Duel, for example, because if your opponent activates this card by attacking, unless they have a card like Mystical Space Typhoon that they can use to quick effect destroy the continuous trap, or they negate it, then you are going to get at least 3 cards that milled for this card, because your opponent ends their turn immediately after the battle phase. The 3 mill is arguably good. I would say that 3 is probably pushing it, because your opponent can really benefit from having 3 cards sent to the graveyard. It's really when it gets to 6 and 9 that it starts to be beneficial to you, because then your opponent's really running out of options. So Vain Betrayer, if it can stay on the field for at least 2 turns, is good for you, but it's not going to, so it's a bad card. Then there is Sargasso, the DD Battlefield. This card is terrible. Don't play this card. Sargasso, the DD Battlefield. A field spell. Each time a monster is Xyz summoned, the summoning player takes 500 damage, which will be half to 250. During each player's end phase, the turn player takes 500 damage if they control a face-up Xyz monster, which will be half to 250. This will probably be like a neutral rarity card in the Masquerade box, and you shouldn't play it. Then Sargasso has another card that comes with it, Sargasso Lighthouse. A quick play spell, when a spell effect that would inflict damage to you is activated, you take no damage from that effect, and then while Lighthouse is in the graveyard, you take no damage from the effect of Sargasso the DD Battlefield. When the set card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Sargasso the DD Battlefield from your deck to your hand. So it does search the card, you can MST it and then draw the battlefield, and then it's in the graveyard, so you take no damage from the battlefield, but it's a bad card. It's just a burn card that requires you to play a quick play spell to not kill yourself with your burn card, and then your opponent could not even be playing Xyzes at all. So don't play these cards. They will probably both be neutral rarity cards in the 104 box, and it will be bad. Other than that, there are some Dawn Thousand cards that Vector played. Dawn Thousand's Throne and Contract with Dawn Thousand, which I imagine are probably not going to be introduced until Dawn Thousand himself comes out, because we haven't even started talking about Dawn Thousand in the actual storyline. So it would be weird for these cards to be released just because Vector used them really late in the anime. I don't think that's going to happen. And then Vector also played Admiration, which rank up Magic Admiration of the Thousands. Again, this is another Dawn Thousand card, so I'm really not thinking this card's going to come right now. There you go. So we already have the Malicevorous cards. We already have the Umbral Horror cards. There's a Trap Corrupted Keys. There's the 104 and the rank up for 104. There's number 66. There's the rank up for number 65, and then there's number 43 and its rank up. So you can expect that Vector will have a lot of number monsters associated with him, and you can also expect that Vector will likely have a skill that focuses entirely around rank up Magic Baron's Force. The real problem for Vector is going to be... I forgot about number 96. I'm sorry, chat. Okay, so Malicevorous lets you summon a bunch of level 2s. What do we do with them besides number 43? Well, we have number 96. And number 96 is a Dark Fiend that requires 3 level 2 monsters. It has 100 attack and 1000 defense. Once per battle during either player's turn, when an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's monster, you can attach 1 Xyz material from this card, have the attack of the opponent's monster, and if you do, this card gains the same amount of attack points permanently. So, if Dark Mist, for example, battles Utopia, then Utopia's attack points become 1250, Dark Mist gains 1250, so now it's 1350. The battle happens, Dark Mist deals 100 damage to the opponent, and now Dark Mist has the 1350 attack points. Then it battles another monster, it steals half their attack points, inflicts 1350, and then it battles a third monster, and it steals all their attack points, and so you can see where this is going. So, number 96 is a very difficult card to be destroyed in battle, but you can just destroy it with a spell or trap, and it's fine. It's definitely a cool card to use, and I do think that... because I'm expecting number 96 to be incorporated into Vector's character. I do think that number 96 will be given an animation. So Vector will probably have 2 animations and 2 ace monsters, one for Dark Mist and one for 104. And both those cards will not see any play. But regardless, I like the card, and I think it's going to be very interesting. And then, of course, number 96 does have a Chaos form. And that Chaos form is Chaos number 96 Dark Storm. 1000 attack, 1000 defense. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, all battle damage you take from battles involving this card is also inflicted to your opponent. So it's not you bell, you still take the damage, but your opponent also takes the damage. That's really cool. It's not an activated effect, by the way, so your opponent can't negate the activation like they do for Ubel. If you battle, it's going to be Amazoness Swordswoman style. Both of you take the damage. If this card has number 96 Dark Mist as material, it gains this effect. Once per battle during either player's turn, when an attack is involved declaring this card, you can attach 1 material from this card. The attack of the opponent's monster becomes 0, and if it does, this card gains attack equal to the original attack of the opponent's monster. So you attack a Blue Eyes, the Blue Eyes' attack points become 0, this card's attack points become 4,000, and you kill your opponent. Cool. Chaos number 96 is a great card, just like Chaos number 104 is a great card. The base forms are really bad, but I mean, if you can make Chaos number 96, go off, King. Now, I am 100% going to make a Malicevorous Darkstorm deck when Vector comes out. 100%. If they give us Chaos number 96 and number 96 when Vector was released, and he has an animation for number 96, and number 96 has his own lines that are like, I don't know, maybe either regular number 96 lines or maybe like number 96 as a puppet to Vector lines, I am definitely making that deck, and you guys can be excited for that. Will it be good? No. No. But it would be fun. Alright, so there you go. That's what I wanted to say about Vector and about the Barians in general, and sadly you can expect no better from Dumont, and Marin will probably be a complete nothing character, and Nash will be fun. So, there you go. Out of the 7 Barian Emperors, I expect 3 of them to be good: Mizar, Vector, and Nash. That's my take on this. My name is Seraphi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.